Well, everyone, welcome back. I didn't take a break or anything. This is directly after. Alright, so. Okay. Sure, why not? What was it that Mutuo said yesterday? If you can't observe the thing, then observe what's around it. Worth a shot. The nurse knows Emmy better than I do, I'll wager. Sure, I'm open to suggestions. Honestly, I'm kind of lost. I've got no idea how to deal with this. I never would have guessed. He grins as he says this. I think he's kidding. Look, here's the deal. Emmy is stubborn. You should know that by now. And if you don't, then you're pretty unobservant. But I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt here. I'm so grateful. Anyway, she's decided that she doesn't want to talk about what happened. Then she's not going to talk about what happened. Has she said anything about what's been bothering her? Even a hint? Well, she did say she'd been having nightmares about the accident. Really? You're making progress then. That's good. Well, I guess I can fill you in on this without violating my strict non-interference policy when it comes to Emmy making stupid decisions. The anniversary of her accident is coming up soon. She gets depressed around this time because it was a pretty traumatic event considering what she's lost. That's the other thing. She acted like she lost more than just her legs. What happened? Well, nope. Not going there. You'll have to ask someone else about that, because that's a whole can of worms I'm not about to open. If Emmy wants you to know, she'll tell you in her own time. You just got to be patient, that's all. Why are you even helping me with all this? Because you're good for her. She trusts you, even if you don't think she does. And you've got the best chance out of anyone at this school right now to help her through this time of year. She won't accept my help, but she might accept yours if you don't screw it up. So don't screw it up, got it? I open my mouth to respond, but a knocking sound at the door interrupts me. Hey, you guys still in there? Just a moment, Emmy. Give us a second to get our pants back on. The door bursts open, and Emmy glares knives at the nurse. Asshole. Didn't mean to get your hopes up. Hey, can we leave me out of this? Anyway, what's up, Emmy? Forget something? I tried to make a more cheerful tone with her. No need to upset her. Two can play the everything's fine game. Actually, I forgot to ask you something. Oh, what's that? Do you want to come with me on a trip to my house? My mom's making dinner, and I thought you might want to join us. Well, of course I accept. Emmy punches the nurse in the arm, playfully. Not you, idiot. You were over last week. I was talking to Azao. Oh, how interesting. Meeting the parent? I'd love to go, Emmy. Thanks. The nurse raises an eyebrow, but says nothing. Great. I'll be in my room. Swing by after you shower and change into something clean, and we'll go grab the bus. Sounds good. I'll see you in a bit. It's me who leans in for a quick kiss before darting off to my room. What an interesting development. Maybe we're getting closer after all. Maybe Emmy's finally ready to open up a little. Or maybe she's just being polite, and a free meal seems like a good way to apologize for last night. Great. Now I can't decide whether to be excited, nervous, or depressed. I settle for a combination of all three and hop in the shower. I don't think I like riding on buses. Actually, I think I'm pretty comfortable saying that as a fact. They sway a lot, and they smell funny, and you can feel every bump in the road. I'm really not looking forward to this. Plus, Emmy's legs keep making a clanking noise that drives the attention of everyone else on the bus. That draws the attention of everyone else on the bus. She's in shorts again, and she's got long socks drawn up her prosthetics so they don't look obviously false. But that doesn't stop the odd look or two every time her legs bump together with an audible clunk. I shift nervously in my seat. Emmy raises an eyebrow questioningly. She doesn't seem to mind the stares. Either that or she doesn't notice that people are staring. I'm sure she's gotten her fill of odd looks before. After a certain amount of time, I doubt she'd notice anymore. Not that she'd ever tell me if I asked. Another fact is, I'm not just uncomfortable about the bus. I can't seem to come to terms with the fact that Emmy appears to be trying to bring me closer while at the same time pushing me away. The nurse said she trusted me, even if it doesn't look like it. But I'm not sure I can trust the nurse. He's protective of Emmy, just like I'm protective of Emmy. And it'd likely say something to make her look good if someone asked me about her. If... Sorry. So he might just be doing that. Still, there was something about the way he seemed genuinely surprised that Emmy invited me along. Maybe last night's talk helped more than I think, but I'm still worried. Meeting the parents is a big deal, right? Not that I haven't already met Emmy's mother, but that was just as an acquaintance. Now it's going to be as Emmy's boyfriend, with everything that implies. I can feel my heart pounding in my chest, an echo of that snow-covered afternoon that feels like it was so long ago that it might as well be another life entirely. Except then, I didn't know what was going on. I also didn't have the medication to help prevent things spiraling out of control. I've come a long way in terms of my physical health, and for the second time today, I feel like I'll be able to live normally now, or at least as normally as possible. Now, if only I could manage my relationship as well as I've managed my heart, I'd be in great shape. Well, we're here. Emmy grabs my hand. Oh, this song. I'm pretty sure it's played before, but it's still pretty good. Emmy grabs my hand as soon as we stepped off the bus. She starts heading down the street almost immediately. Come on. We've got a couple of blocks until my place. What? Oh, okay. I follow Emmy down the street, watching her confident stride. She's setting kind of a quick pace just for a walk. I get she's anxious to get there. So, does your mom do this sort of thing often? Nah, not too frequently. Mom's never been much for playing hostess. Oh yeah? Yeah, my dad was always the one pushing her to have people over. This sudden and unprompted reference to her father catches me off guard. And from the look of Emmy's face, I'm not sure she meant to mention him. I think I've only heard her talk about him once. All I remember is that Emmy's mom told me that he wasn't around anymore. Oh, your mom prefers solitude? Emmy laughs, either from relief that I didn't ask about her father, or from finding my statement actually funny. Not at all. She's why I'm such an outgoing person, you know? She just prefers to be a guest rather than a hostess. It's less stressful that way, or so she says. Clearly, she's never had to meet her girlfriend's mother for dinner. Emmy giggles again, and speaks in a teasing tone. Nervous, Hazel? You shouldn't be, you know? It's not that big of a deal. Just dinner at my house, that's all. Yeah, but have you ever brought home a boyfriend before? And confess, that part of me dreads hearing the answer to this. I know very little of Emmy's past relationships, and I don't know if there were past relationships. No, I guess I haven't. Hey, maybe this really is kind of a big deal after all. Oh good. Now I feel twice as nervous. To tell the truth, I'm pretty happy to hear that I'm the first one. Maybe we've got something special after all. Bolstered by this new thought, I managed to calm down considerably by the time Emmy knocks on her front door. Hey, Mom. Open up. We're here. The door swings open, and Miss Ibarazaki stands, grinning at her daughter. The grin is still surprisingly similar to Emmy's. I'm never going to get used to that. You know, people normally wait a few minutes before they start shouting at the door. And most mothers say hello to their daughters instead of scolding them right away. Of course. Welcome home, dinner. Welcome home, dear. I've missed you. An affectionate hug later, and we're inside. It is only then that Emmy's mom seems to remember that I'm actually here. And hello to you too, Hazal. How are you? I'm quite well, thank you. Nice to not have school to worry about for a little bit. Ah yes, you finished up your exams, haven't you? That must be quite a relief for you both. It's certainly a weight off my mind, that's for sure. Mine too. I think I slept well for the first time in weeks last night from relief alone. If this news is a surprise to Emmy's mother, she doesn't show it. Still, her response betrays a note of interest. Is that so? I'm very glad to hear that, Emmy. You know, I'm worried when you get all wound up about, well, exams. Certainly, Emmy's mother knows something that I don't. Or rather, she doesn't know that Emmy's told me about the nightmares. It's interesting being able to observe how Miss Ibarazaki covers for Emmy. That protective instinct to make sure I don't know any more than Emmy's willing to tell me. I suppose Emmy's got more in common with Quarks than I ever realized. Moves around fast, impossible to understand through direct observation. Yet she has an effect on everyone else she encounters. Okay, I didn't notice that the first time, but that's actually a really good... Okay. I wonder if Miss Ibarazaki will figure out that I know about the nightmares, or is she just keeping everything secret from everybody? Yeah, it's not been as bad this year as in the past. Hazal helped me to stay focused. Okay. I know that's not true. She even cut off contact outside of school hours during exam week. But she did see me during the day, and told me more than once that the morning run was the only thing she looked forward to during exams. Maybe it's not that much of a lie? Either way, to hear that being around has helped even a little bit makes me feel a bit better. Emmy's mother raises an eyebrow at this statement. Either she doesn't believe Emmy, or she's as surprised as I am. Well, then it appears it's a good thing you two have become so close. I tell you to take good care of my daughter, Hazal, but it looks like you're already doing that. Emmy grins at this, and seems to take pride in having managed to ingratiate myself with her mother so easily. Actually, I'd say your daughter's been the one taking care of me. She's gotten me out and running. I've probably been more active since meeting her than I ever was even before. I'd never actually thought of it that much, nor had I ever appreciated the humor in it. I wasn't too active before the heart attack. Pickup games of soccer don't really count since they weren't that common. So now that I know for sure that I have a weak heart, now I run every day, pushing with my luck with the help of my medication. I chuckle quietly, then realize I had never finished my sentence. Well, before I had my heart attack and wound up at the school here. It comes out so casually. There was a time that I would have thought twice about talking about what was wrong with me at all. But now? It just seems silly to care, especially in the company of Emmy and her mother. If Emmy can be cavalier about her disability, then so can I. I think back to the track meet, where Emmy declared herself the fastest thing on no legs. The fact that her obvious loss has never seemed to bother her, at least not in public. Being stuck in the wheelchair frustrated her, I know. But even that was something she dealt with on her own, despite my efforts to the contrary. Emmy has a way of bringing out the more active side in people. I've never quite figured out how she does that. Those puppy dog eyes she gets for starters. I'm not surprised that she managed to rope you into an exercise routine. If Rin weren't as stubborn, just as stubborn as she is, I'm sure that Emmy would have gotten her out and running with you too. Oh, that reminds me. Rin says hello. I drift to the outer edges of the conversation again, as we move into the dining room to eat. It smells delicious in here, and the spread that Emmy's mom has produced is impressive. Whoa, you've made enough to feed an army in here. Is it too much? Well, you can always take some leftovers with you when you go. That sounds great. I can only handle cafeteria food for so long. Something home-cooked would be a welcome change of pace. Actually, I just thought of something. Has Hizao's parents... Did they... When's the last time Hizao's parents talked to him? That would be like in Act 1, right? I mean, I'm sure they talked to him, like that just feels weird, honestly. Just, oh yeah, by the way, my high schooler, right? Yeah, I'm not going to be talking to him for months because he's going to go to this special school. Like, wait a second. Look, I'm not a parent, and I probably never will be a parent because modern day, but I think I would want to speak to my kid, making sure, hey, you doing all right? Like, at least once every week, month if we're pushing it, but, you know, whatever. That sounds great. I could only handle cafeteria food for so long. Something home-cooked would be a welcome change of pace. What he said. Thanks, Mom. The food tastes as good as it smells, and there's a lull in the conversation while we all dig in. Emmy assaults her plate with the usual amount of gusto. And I will admit that I set a pretty fast pace myself. So, Hizao, I hear that you and my daughter here have gotten rather close. The urge to say something, like, not really, is so strong that I open my mouth to say it. But then, reassert control. We are close. There's no getting around it. I mean, Emmy's brought me here, hasn't she? Unfortunately for both Emmy and her mother seem to take my reaction as a sign that I'm caught off guard rather than considering saying something cruel. I suppose we have. I blame the morning runs myself. You make it sound like a bad thing, Hizao. Well, I, for one, found it a relief. Why's that? Emmy's always been a popular girl, but never made many close friends. This is a bit of news to me. I've always seen Emmy chatting with her classmates in the hallways, and certainly the whole track team seems to love her. But it is true that she chooses to isolate herself during lunch with Rin and me. Not exactly the sort of behavior one expects from a popular girl, after all. Then again, I've experienced her unwillingness to get close firsthand, so I can't say that I'm surprised. I was beginning to have my doubts. Emmy rolls her eyes to the ceiling and grumbles something I can't make out. Huh? What? What's that you just said? Nothing. Miss Sabarazaki chokes on her drink with laughter. You've been hanging out with a nurse too long, Emmy. I'm going to have to talk to him about corrupting my daughter. Why? Somehow, I don't think that would be very effective. I learned most of it from you anyway, not the nurse. That look again. Don't listen to her, Zhao. She's a born liar. Yeah, right. Oh, I don't know, Emmy. I think your mother has a point. What, you traitor? You're supposed to take my side in this. Yeah, but you did lie about your leg after the meeting. A kick in the shins from an unmistakably plastic foot cuts me off, but not before Miss Sabarazaki's eyebrows shoot upwards. What about your leg? It wasn't a big deal. That's all. I was in a wheelchair for a bit. The last few mumbled words are quickly deciphered by Emmy's mother. I suspect she has experience with this sort of thing, and a worried frown appears on her face. So that's why he kept dodging my calls. Oh, Emmy, I know how much you hate being in a wheelchair. No wonder you've been in such a mood lately. Yeah, she's much happier on her feet, so to speak. Well, of course, she spent enough time in a chair just after the accident. She didn't get prosthetics immediately? No, she had to finish healing up before they let her start the sort of therapy you got to go through to adjust those things. Especially since she wanted to run on them. I had no idea. Yeah, it sucked. Oh, did you see Rin's mural at the festival? Emmy's sudden change of topic makes you realize, belatedly, that she's been fidgeting this whole time her mother and I have been talking. Yeah, like, I noticed, like, her eyes going to, like, her mom, and then, like, back to his out, to her mom, to, like, back to his out, and her mom. I would have Damn, I'm not used to sitting around this long. Anyways, I should have figured on her being a little skittish when it comes to talking about the accident, even around her mother. No, I didn't make it out to the festival, remember? Although I caught a glimpse of it at your track meet. Seemed pretty weird to me. I think that's more or less what she was going for. She talked a lot about it being dreamlike, or trying to make it dreamlike. Rin's art is one of those things I don't think I'll ever understand. That's not surprising. I don't think Rin expects it to be understood. She told me once that art allows people to understand the stuff they wouldn't otherwise, but all the same, she doesn't think it actually works that way. I'm surprised that Emmy talked about this with Rin extensively enough to actually have Rin's opinion, such as it is. Although I expect Rin could not, if she were so inclined, say the same thing about Emmy's. Unless, of course, Emmy is purposely keeping me in the dark about everything, which is likely, but unpleasant to think about. As I drift down this unpleasant train of thought for a while, losing track of the conversation. Hey Emmy, I've been meaning to ask. Huh? Are you going to visit your father this year? From the way she says it, you'd think Emmy's mother was talking about the weather. From the way Emmy reacts, it's clearly not the weather they're talking about. She flinches, a slight jerk of her head backwards, as if she's been slapped in the face. Can we talk about this later? Her voice sounds brittle, strained. It looks as if she's been severely shaken by the question. It seems that Miss Ibarazaki judged just how close Emmy and I are. Some things, it seems, are best not conversed about with me around. Her father is one of those things. The accident that took her legs is probably another one of those things. If her reaction to the earlier conversation between her mother and myself is any indication, it doesn't take Emmy's mother long to realize she's screwed up. Of course we can, dear. I'm sorry to bring it up. I just wanted to ask so we can make plans. It's fine, don't worry about it. Emmy fidgets nervously, as if embarrassed by her own reaction. I confess that her reaction is confusing. Not only she just mentioned her father to me earlier today, less than a few hours ago even. Why does a simple question about when she'll visit her father cause such a strong reaction? Unless whatever serenity she claimed to have reached by means of our talk the previous evening has suddenly evaporated. Or it didn't help as much as she thought or claimed. I'll be right back. I gotta visit the little girl's room. Okay, so I've been talking for a long time. You can tell my I don't usually speak this long, I'm sorry. Alright. Let me just like drink something real quick. So, what was the last? Yeah, the last like 2 episodes before this one, I'm recording it in the same session. So, excuse me. All right. Emmy gets up suddenly and leaves the table, leaving me and Miss Ibarazaki alone. I'm a little conflicted. Should I go after her, or should I stay here? It's obvious that Emmy's departure was not based on the call of nature. Something's bothering her, and I have to know what it is, or how to go about it. Okay, so honestly, I think that one of the best things to do when someone's having issues like this, right, is you act like you're there for them, right? But don't push them, right? Pushing someone is a very bad thing. Look, here's the thing. This option is actually, did I save here? I didn't save here. Okay, good thing I actually like tried to think about it. But from my own experience, um, I do have certain issues regarding talking to other people that I care about that is similar to Emmy. And the best thing that happens to me, right, is I'd like to know someone is there. However, I am I don't want to be pushed. So just give her some time, give her some space, right? I hope this is the right option. There's an awkward silence at the table, and for a while after, Emmy dashes off, and I can't think of anything to say. Emmy's mother sighs, breaking the silence. Sorry about that, Hazao. Sometimes I forget that Emmy's touchy about certain subjects. Yeah, my own mom does that too. So yeah. And I was talking about the wheelchair thing too. Should I go after her? Heavens no. She didn't leave the table to continue the conversation, you know? But if she's troubled, shouldn't someone help her? If it were anyone else, I'd say yes, but my daughter is stubborn as a mule. And if she wants to be alone, it's best to leave her be alone. Otherwise, she'll probably say something she'd regret, which would cause you to say something you'd regret. And I would prefer that dinner doesn't end with one or the both of you storming out of the house. If that were to happen, I'd be a terrible hostess, wouldn't I? I already acted as a fool once today. That's okay. I shouldn't have brought up the wheelchair, apparently. Miss Ibarazaki frowns, clearly more bothered by Emmy's omission than she let on. I wish she didn't do that. She wouldn't do that. It makes me worry even more, you know? She does this often? What, running off to the bathroom? No. I can't say she does. Keep injuries from her mother, though? Well, that's a little more common. Every time I catch her lying like that, she assures me that the only reason she didn't tell me is because it wasn't a big deal. If it's any consolation, I'm sure the only reason I knew about it at all was because I saw her every day. This elicits a dry chuckle from across the table. Miss Ibarazaki sighs a little sadly. Still hesitant about getting close to people, huh? I keep hoping that she'll get over that. It's funny, really. She bounced back so well from the accident in so many ways. I guess some things never really go away. From the looks of it, The whole thing still bothers her too. She seems to be a little more willing to talk about the accident without Emmy around, though. I've got a question, if that's alright. Oh? What else did Emmy lose in that accident? The nurse said that she gets this way near the anniversary, and she wouldn't talk about it to me. So you thought I'd fill you in, yeah, hopefully. Well, there's a problem with that request, you know? Let me guess. You promised Emmy that you wouldn't tell anyone she didn't want to know. And now you don't know if she wants me to know. Something like that. I promised Emmy that she'd be the one to tell people the full story. But isn't that important? I mean, it's clearly had a huge effect on her. If she's still like this so long after the accident happened. That's true. It did have a long-lasting effect on her. There are a few things that she'll probably never really get over. For a moment, Miss Ibarazaki looks incredibly saddened, as if an old wound is bothering her. I suppose there are a few things I'll never really get over either. Another dry chuckle. With a shake of her head, Emmy's mother banishes the memory. Look, there's something you absolutely must understand about the way Emmy thinks about the accident. What's that? It wasn't a big deal. Somehow, I managed to keep my mouth from falling open in surprise. But it takes some effort. That has to be the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I beg your pardon? Okay, maybe it's not that simple. But it's a pretty accurate summation. Emmy believes that the accident did not define her, and that everything she lost that day didn't define her either. She's not that girl who lost her legs. She's the fastest thing on no legs. Her optimism and energy came out of that wreck without a scratch as far as she's concerned. Yet, it goes beyond that, doesn't it? I mean, last night she told me that she refused to rely on me, because it would make losing me too painful. Not really. She said she won't tell you about the accident, even though you've asked her about it before. The reason she won't talk about it when you ask is because to her, it's not something you absolutely need to know. Even if she wasn't terrified of getting too close to anyone, she still wouldn't talk about it. She's afraid of being too close to me? Oh my goodness me, yes! For all that talk about being unscathed about the accident, she's gained the ugly knowledge of how quickly it can all be over. So she's not going to let people get especially close to her. And she certainly would resent any implication that she cannot work through this on her own. But I don't think she can. Oh no? You sure been dating my daughter and not somebody else? Trust me, Hazao. She can get through it on her own. But she has nightmares and can't sleep well, and she does this every year. Tell me, if she wasn't able to get through it on her own, do you really think she'd still be alive? She would have killed herself or something equally melodramatic. So what, I shouldn't try to help her? I didn't say that. I hate seeing my daughter like this. Knowing that she could rely on someone else would let me relax. You just need to understand that accepting helps goes against everything Emmy thinks about herself and the way the world works. If you still want to offer her help, then I guess that's your call. Honestly, I'd like you to. But it'd be silly to not warn you that that's not the sort of thing that's not going to be easy. You just need to be patient with her. She's already closer to you than anyone else she's ever met at Yamaku. Well, it sure doesn't feel like we're very close. Good, that makes this part easier. Oh no. Emmy's voice nearly gives me a heart attack. Well, who didn't hear you come back, Emmy? How convenient. Wait, were you eavesdropping? Nope. Just happened to come back at the right moment, I guess. I mean, Hazao was just... Emmy holds up a finger, cutting her mother off. On his way out of the house? Yeah, I know. Hold on. Emmy is trembling with anger now, looking vaguely betrayed. Emmy, don't be ridiculous. We were just... You promised! The pain carried in that last word was almost too much for me to bear. The idea that I could hurt her that much is like being kicked in the gut. Emmy's mother looked similarly pained by the thought. And I kept that promise. Just listen. There's no reason to go throwing people out of the house. Emmy's mother seems to be both angry at her daughter's outburst and embarrassed that I'm witness to it. There's only one real solution to this problem, I think. It's okay. I'll go. No, really, that seems a little unnecessary. Don't worry about it. Thank you for dinner, Miss Sabarazaki, and for the advice. It was my pleasure, Azao. I'm sorry we didn't get to the dessert. That's okay. I have to watch what I eat anyway. Good evening, Emmy. Miss Sabarazaki. The formality of our conversation, coupled with the fact that I'm getting ready to leave, seems to snap Emmy out of her anger. No, wait, I'm sorry. I've been so... And after last night, I just thought, you don't have to go. I take it back. It's okay. I can't help but smile slightly. She can barely articulate her apology. And I really would like to stay. But I don't think I can right now. I need to think about what her mother said. And what I'm going to do about us. I don't want to risk accidentally getting Emmy angry again in her current state either. No, I think I'd better leave. You seem pretty shook up, and well, I'd only wind up trying to help you again. I know you'd prefer I didn't, so I'm going to leave instead. But it's not a problem. You don't want a knight in a white charger, right? Just promise me one thing, okay? What? Don't be angry at your mom, okay? She was just giving me some advice, that's all. Emmy nods hesitantly, like the simple idea is all that she can grab onto at this point. She's so terribly off balance, but I can't do anything about that right now. Okay. See you tomorrow, okay? Running in the morning. Don't forget. I can see that I've hurt Emmy by deciding to leave, but there's nothing I can do for her as things stand, and I know that she's too stubborn to admit that she wants me to stick around. I watch various emotions cross Emmy's face as she tries to process everything that's just happened. Shortly comes that calm down again. Like last night, and that voice tries so hard to sound careless. Sure, Hazal. See you around. Both of us are unwilling to concede emotion at this point, and I'm having a hard time keeping up my facade, so I turn my heel and walk out the door. I shut it behind me slowly, pausing for a moment, as the latch catches my hand on the doorknob. Did I make the right decision just now? Should I have stayed and tried to work things out? No, I decide. Not in front of her mother like that. In spite of everything, I'd rather keep Emmy's mother insulated from the sort of anger that surfaced last night. Even though she's probably used to it, some protective instinct wants me to keep Emmy's image as cheerful as a cheerful girl intact. With a start, I realize my hand is still resting on the knob. I take my hand away, put it in my pocket, and head down the slowly darkening street. I let out a long breath. The wait until tomorrow morning comes isn't going to be easy. In any case, I have to think about what to say to Emmy. I must apologize and I must get through to her somehow. On that account, something has been on my mind for most of the way back to my room. The letter of apology from Iwanako. I was so concerned about my new life when I received it, that I didn't even bother to really read it. Now that I find myself in a similar position, my curiosity got rekindled. What did she want to let me know so badly? If nothing else, reading her thoughts might help me frame mine. I remember tossing it away. Damn, where did I throw that thing? I check under my desk. That turns up nothing. So I look for harder to reach, more unlikely locations. Well, now I know where that lost sock went, at least. Still no letter, though. It's when I keep sweeping my arm under my nightstand that I feel something crinkly jammed between it and the wall. Grunting a little with the effort, I reach for my prize and soon manage to bring it into the light. Bingo. I sit at my desk and spread the crumpled paper open. A flick turns on the table light. Skipping past the empty pleasantries, I look for the point where I stopped reading. Ah, here it is. And the other things I want to say? I'm writing to you because I felt that there are things I should have said after the accident back in winter. I really regret that I wasn't able to say them in person, and I have no excuse for it. The truth is, the times when I visited you at the hospital made me worried about you. And I'm not talking about your health. You seemed to become more distant and disheartened. It was natural after something like that happened, I'm sure. But somehow I got the feeling that you'd given up on something back then. Happiness, maybe? Giving up on happiness. This sounds unpleasantly familiar. I wanted to somehow express my feelings, but the right words didn't come to me. I couldn't say anything to comfort you. I am really sorry for not being able to support you when it mattered the most, even though I like you so much. At least now I can finally be more honest. If I could go back to those quiet days in February and March, I'd tell you to not give up on yourself. That's what I would say. Maybe you wouldn't have drifted so far away if I had just said something. I hope you've managed to get back on your feet on your own. Now that the distance between us is also physical, it also feels more final. Somehow, I wonder if we will meet again. Perhaps it's for the best if we don't. Still, if you would like to correspond with me, by all means, write me back. I'd very much like to hear about your new school and how you are doing. I wish you all the best. Sincerely, Iwanako. Okay, so, I forget which episode it was, but, my first reaction when Hazao got the letter, I was like, oh no! And I think that was a bit, premature. Sorry. Keep in mind that, I have changed, like, keep in mind, I was in middle school, so I was like, ooh. Ooh. H scenes and stuff, Right, but, now that I'm an adult, I now get that maybe it was premature to me to be like, oh, well, oh, God damn it, don't do this now. Don't do this now. So, yeah. Yeah, as it turns out, I guess it was... I don't know. Yeah, I think I just reacted badly. And, so... After finishing reading the letter, I smoothed it out carefully and set it aside on my desk. Thank you, Iwanako. I wanted to answer yes to your question on that snowy winter day, but I never got to. By the time we met again, it was too late. Or so I thought. What would have happened if I behaved differently back in the dismally sterile hospital room? I'm sorry, but there's no point in wondering now. But there's no point in trying to forget either. I am who I am because of what happened to me, and I look forward to the experience, present, future, and past. And the past may have just taught me an important lesson now. Act 4. Motion. I think this is the final act of Emmy's route. So, yep. So either today or tomorrow, I'm getting this route done. The sound of my alarm is an unwelcome intrusion on my sleep that has been a battle to obtain. I doubt I've been truly asleep for more than an hour or two. Too much on my mind. Did I make the right choice leaving the house yesterday? Did I manage to get Emmy to realize how unreasonable she's been? Am I ever going to manage to get her to stop being unreasonable? Emmy's mom gave me a new perspective the other day, but I'm still not sure it's the right perspective. She was hurt when I left yesterday, too. I know that part of any conversation is going to have to include an apology about that. Right thing to do or not, I hurt her. I hurried down to the track, eager to talk to Emmy. I think I know what to say. Apologize for leaving first, and go ahead from there. Unless, of course, Emmy doesn't show up. From the looks of things, seems like it's the case. It's been about 15 minutes since I got here, and there's no sign of her. She's never late, not unless she's sick, which is unlikely. She probably just doesn't want to see me right now. I take my mind off what that implies. I begin my warm-up routine and take off around the track. It clears my mind wonderfully. For the half hour I'm running, I don't think about anything but the run. However, once I finished, and Emmy still hasn't shown up, I get a little worried. With any luck, the nurse will know where she is. If nothing else, I can see what he thinks I should do next. Last night didn't go too well, I take it? Huh? You already know? I have my ways. It's not as if I'd miss the distinct absence of your running partner this morning, now would I? I suppose not. So what happened? Don't you know already? Maybe, but I could be bluffing. Perhaps I'd prefer to get your side of the story before I give any advice. I quickly fill the nurse in on the events of last night, and he takes it all in without changing expression once. Nothing about the whole event seems to surprise him, although he does seem surprised when I say that I didn't follow Emmy. Chose to talk to her mom instead, huh? Smart move. Though I guess it didn't work out too well for you in the end. Well, I'm not sure. Emmy seemed apologetic when I left, or at least she seemed that way until she put up her defenses again. The nurse sighs and spreads its hands in a conciliatory gesture. Frankly, I'm surprised she let them down at all. Emmy's got a lot of practice on that score. You probably won't get anything else out of her. I don't believe you. Is that so? You think she'll tell you the whole tale? I'd swear I just saw the nurse's eyes glitter a little. His expression is the same, but he leans forward ever so slightly. I think she'll open up if I ask her without being an idiot about it, yeah. The nurse gives his enigmatic smile in response, and shrugs widely. I think he's enjoying his role a little too much. That's the real trick, isn't it? Are you sure you know the right way to approach the subject? I can guarantee that Emmy is going to try her hardest to pretend that last night didn't happen. It'll be painfully awkward for the both of you, but it will also be a lot safer than trying to ask her for the whole story again. It could go worse this time. Are you ready for something like that? It sounds like a challenge. Like he doesn't believe for a minute that I'd be so bold. Actually, I feel a little insulted by his lack of confidence in me. Of course I'm ready for that. I love her. My outburst... I love her. My outburst gets a raised eyebrow in response. Well then. Good luck. Let me know how it all turns out. Although he delivers his parting shot with the same smirk as usual, I actually think that the nurse wants me to succeed. I resist the urge to charge directly to Emmy's room to prove the nurse wrong. I've gone in half-cocked before, and the results were less than stellar. If I'm going to do this, I need to figure out exactly what I'm going to say, and how I'm going to say it. Something to think about in class. Sure enough, by the time lunch rolls around, I think I have a good enough idea of what to say. I can do this. The bell rings, and I grab my lunch and dash up the stairs, eager to be there first. I need to ask Rin to leave, and I'll need to... Hey, Azao, sorry I wasn't able to run with you this morning, I overslept. Somehow both Emmy and Rin have managed to get to the roof before me. Oh, that's no problem. Last night was kind of draining, I guess. Emmy's expression doesn't alter in the slightest. Yeah, sorry about that, but I've had such a weird morning since then. Oh, really? Emmy proceeds to make small talk for the rest of the time. I can barely get a word in edgewise, and I find myself interjecting with a sort of back and forth dialogue that seems to have defined our early relationship. I'm not going to get anywhere on this problem during lunch. Obviously, I can respect that. Emmy obviously doesn't want to accidentally pull Rin into things, and that's fine. Not that I think Rin would notice, but I can at least respect that sort of rationale. I try a different tactic. Hey, Emmy, what are you up to after class today? I was thinking we could go somewhere for dinner or something. Emmy looks genuinely remorseful. Sorry, Hazal, I promised the track captain that I'd stick around after practice and help some of the other kids with their form. It'll have to be some other time. Yeah, sure. I'm honestly not sure what to do now. Maybe diving into things the day after would be a bad idea anyway. She might still be angry about it and just not showing it. Perhaps she's got track team responsibilities, that's fine, right? I tell myself some variation of this theme the next day. Then the next, I wake up, run with Emmy, during which she refuses to talk about anything but the run and what she was doing the night before, and then lunch where we sit and make small talk until the bell rings. Her new responsibilities effectively keep me from seeing her outside of school. Maybe, just maybe, I'm letting it happen because it's safer this way, just like the nurse said. Except, while it may be safer, I'm feeling more and more wretched. Emmy doesn't look good when I see her anymore. Dark circles lurk under her eyes, and she seems more and more distracted, and I can't bring myself to ask what's wrong, because the timing never seems right. I'm absolutely miserable. Did I choose, like, a bad ending? Well, I mean, I think I'm just gonna save here, honestly. I've been on my ass for hours. Okay, save. Okay. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take a break for a few hours. So yeah, I got the fourth one. Yay! So yeah, eventually as we complete routes and do this, we're gonna get more and more of this. And also, one thing I noticed from the extras menu. Jukebox, gallery, library, cinema. Okay. Basically, since I don't know if we're on like the bad ending or the good ending, but after I do finish Emmy's route, I'm gonna look at how much I've completed. Then I'm basically just gonna go backwards in a lot of the choices and just pick different choices. But I mean, if I get the bad ending, that's an excuse to go back and get the good ending. If I get the good ending, that's just an excuse to go back and get the bad ending. So, yeah. Well, anyways, see y'all later. I'm going to be taking a break for like an hour or something. So yeah.